Today we're going to get into how to fill out the lead paint form. And I know we hear it a lot, the lead paint form, missing lead paint. Of course, this is for any property that's built before 1978. Now, what's the importance of this form? Well, it's required by federal and state law. And if you actually look at the first page of the lead paint transfer notification, right here, you'll actually see a $1,000 state fine and a $10,000 federal fine. Don't have this document included in your file. If they do an audit and you're missing this, this is what you're looking at. Now, I've also been told that it could pertain that $11,000 fine could potentially be per line that's not filled out. So if you go through the document, there's about 7 places we need to fill out. So that could be up to $77,000. So we don't want to see any of that. Let's get into how to fill out the lead paint form. All right, so if you're working with a buyer, chances are you're going to get a form that's filled out like this. And that means that the seller has no knowledge of lead paint, and they're not providing any documents pertaining to lead paint. So this is what you should be seeing when you receive that lead paint document from the listing agent. So as you see here, the seller has no knowledge. This is checked off. That's correct. And the seller has no reports pertaining to lead paint. So that's correct. That's good. You should see that the listing agent initialed the document. It should have the signature of the seller, as well as the signature of the agent and the property address. Now, the property address is very important. If by chance you receive this document and the property address isn't on it, put it in there, fill it out. You can push it back to the listing agent, but by the time you get it back, it's just easier if you put the property address in there. All right, so let's get into what you and your buyer need to fill out so that way this document is filled out correctly and there's no fines. So the first thing we want to fill out is item D, Delta. This states that the purchaser has received no documents. And I know a lot of agents think, well, we're receiving the lead paint transfer notification. Isn't that a document? It is, but that's not what they're asking here. It doesn't pertain to this item here. What this pertains to is, did your buyer receive any lead paint inspection reports or any type of testing report or anything like that? Well, the seller said that no, there was no documentation, it had no reports. So in this case, you're going to have your buyer or buyer's initial section D, Delta. Now the next line, Echo E, right? This now pertains to, did the buyer receive the transfer notification, what we're filling out right now. So you're going to have your buyer or buyer's initial this portion stating that, yes, they have received the transfer notification. Remember, you have to give them the entire packet, not just this last page for the signature. That's very important because this initial here stating that the buyer is claiming that they did receive the entire packet from you. So you want to make sure you have that. All right, so F. Now, F is a 2-part section. Okay, so what this means that under the law, the buyer has the right to perform a lead paint inspection. The seller can never say that you cannot do a lead paint inspection. By law, the buyer has the right to do it. So here, the buyer's going to make the election. Are they going to do the inspection or are they going to waive the inspection? So what needs to happen here is under F, the buyer or buyers need to initial F, and then they need to check off if they're going to waive it or if they're going to do the inspection. You can't just check it and then leave F uninitialed. It's not in compliance. You can get a fine for that. So make sure that the buyers initial F and then check off one of those boxes what they wish to do. Now H, you're going to initial H. This is a declaration stating that you have told your buyer about the lead paint laws in Massachusetts and also made them aware that if they're buying a property that's built before 1978 and there's a child that's moving in under the age of 6, it is their obligation to either de-lead or bring the property into interim control. Now, I know that might sound like news to a lot of you, like, what is it? Yes, it's been in there forever, but no one really kind of reads it. So now here, make sure you understand that when you initial this, you are declaring that you have told your buyer about the rules of lead paint and what their obligation is once they own the property, and if a child under the age of 6 is actually residing in that property. And then the last step is the signature. So the buyers are going to sign off on the bottom, and then you as the agent are going to sign off as well. Okay, so make sure you have all those lines initialed and checked off. Make sure all the signatures are there, and then you'll be in full compliance with the lead paint form. And once everything has been initialed and signed, this is what the document should look like. Well, listen, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, reach out to me. I'll certainly get back to you. Happy selling, and until next time.